This is the best Southern dressing ever. Not stuffing, dressing. Hey everybody, thanks for joining me on another episode of Cutting Up with Bae. Today we're going to make some delicious, delightful dressing. Now I call it dressing, but you guys may call it stuffing. For the sake of this video, I'm calling it dressing, so don't get in my comments talking about what is dressing. I'm used to stuffing. That's perfectly fine, baby, but we're going to call it for the sake of this video. So I'm just making sure all my dry ingredients are mixed thoroughly. Now I'm going to add my wet ingredients. I'll make sure I leave some details in the comments below for you guys. Now after I mix the dry ingredients with the wet ingredients, I want to make sure I mix everything up until it kind of looks like cake batter. And then this is going to be the perfect foundation for our cornbread dressing. Even though this recipe is for dressing, you can actually use this cornbread part of the recipe for like corn muffins or just for, you know, a good go-to cornbread recipe. So keep that in mind also. I'm going to now grease my pan. I'm going to preheat my oven to 350 degrees and I'm going to bake the cornbread. And you'll know when it's done because the house will start smelling all delicious and your timer should be set so that way you don't overcook it. And you know it's perfectly cooked when you stick a toothpick or even like the tip of a knife right in the middle of your cornbread, and if it comes out clean with no batter on it, that's how you know it's perfectly done. So I got everything here in my pan and we're going to magically bake this, and this is what it's going to look like. I'm not going to let it cool off too much. I'm just going to transfer it right over into my bowl. I'm going to get to breaking it down, and now I'm going to add in a few vegetables. We're going to add some celery, some onion, and some bell pepper. Now, growing up, my grandma used to make her dressing with gizzards. So I'm making my dressing the same way. You don't have to do this step. You can completely leave this step out. So I'm now going to clean the gizzards, and I see that for the most part, they do look clean. This gizzard, not so much. You can see the little gunk on the side. I simply ripped that off, and now it looks nice and clean. And I'm going to just review the other pieces of gizzards, and I don't see that extra gunk on this one or the other ones. So I'm going to give those a good rinse, and now it's time to boil those. I'm going to add some chicken bouillon to the water, and then I'm going to add my chicken gizzards to the water, and I'm going to boil them until they're fork tender. So I cut those up and they look just like this after I cut them up. And now I'm going to sit these aside while I finish building the dressing. So I'm going to use some Chef Bae cornbread dressing seasoning, and this seasoning is the bomb because I formulated this seasoning to solely make the dressing experience amazing. And so many times I've had dressing and it's just not giving. It's not up to par. So this seasoning will help aid you in the right direction if you happen to run into those problems. So I'm going to add some of that good old cornbread dressing seasoning along with just a little bit of salt because as I may have mentioned in other videos, my seasonings are not salty. They are not like my competitor seasonings. So you can actually be liberal with the seasonings and enjoy them. So I have to tell you guys about my day today. I got up super early and I went to a meeting and I was able to seal a deal that was very important to me. And today we were able to get the keys to our new commercial kitchen. So I'm really super excited to be in this space and to be able to share more good food and more recipes with you guys. Now, more details to come on this awesome adventure that I'm going on. So make sure you you guys stay tuned, because not only will I be sharing more food videos, but I'll be sharing more business tips about how I got started in cooking and more tips about my journey and how I became successful. So make sure you guys hit that like button and hit that subscribe button so that way you don't miss out, and that way you're notified when I post new content. So we're going to just hit this with a little bit of Chef Bay seasoning, and I'm going to mix this up just a little bit more to make sure everything is fully incorporated. This is the perfect consistency for dressing, and it's not too thick, it's not too thin or loose. Now let's add our chicken gizzards to the batter, and we're going to make sure everything is mixed up and fully incorporated. So grab a pan and spray it with just a little bit of non-stick spray. If you don't have non-stick spray, you can use some butter just to lightly grease this pan to ensure that the dressing doesn't stick. So now we're going to make sure everything is just smooth and looks perfect. I'm going to head to my cupboard. I'm going to grab some smoked paprika. Now you can use regular paprika, but smoked paprika definitely kicks your dish up just a few more notches. So we're going to add a little bit of that, and then we're going to grab some foil and we're going to throw this in the oven. I like to bake my dressing in the oven on 350 degrees, but don't worry, I'll leave all the information in the description box below. I'm pretty curious, so do me a favor. Let me know in the comments below if you've ever tried oyster dressing or if you've ever tried dressing with the gizzards in it. Now, the gizzard dressing is a traditional Southern type of dressing, but the oyster dressing is definitely an acquired taste. So I'm just wondering how many of you guys have mature taste buds and how many of you guys are still like, no way, ain't no way in hell I'm eating no oysters and no dressing. So please let me know, because I will be reading the comments and I'm really looking forward to your responses. So we just baked the dressing and we took it out the oven. I just ripped the foil off, and now I'm going to let the dressing sit for about 20 minutes or so since it's extremely hot. Man, this dressing smells so good and it looks divine. I wish you guys could come over. It would be nice if we could have a Friendsgiving and I make some food, you guys bring some drinks, and we just have a merry old time. So maybe we can make something like that happen in the springtime. Maybe put some ribs on the grill, make some drinks, have some good 90s music playing, and really have a real life YouTube party. So if you guys think that's a good idea, then let me know and we might be able to make that happen. But here is the best dressing ever, and thank you guys so much for watching. Bye.